So hello and welcome to the second episode of the Living the Dream podcast, a podcast for real estate agents that discusses strategies to grow your business to its maximum potential, while at the same time making sure that you are in control of your career and have the time to live a balanced life. So I'm Kilius, head of business development at Homeania. And with me, as always, is the co-host of the podcast and the broker and general manager of Century 21 Heritage Group, Eryn Richardson. Hey, Eryn, how's it going?
Hey, Linas, how are you?
Oh, can't complain. Episode number 2. Are you excited to get the second one going after, shaking off the rust of the first one?
Yeah, there's some rust there, but I'm ready to go for the second. The snow is falling and we're set.
Is that the measure of success? A little bit of snow
today's the
falling
first day of snow in Newmarket.
Well, today we're going to be talking about breaking into the business. Starting a new career isn't easy at all. Any sort of career. It's scary, exciting, overwhelming, nerve-wracking. And I imagine new real estate agents experience pretty much any and every emotion you can think of. So let's explore those first crucial months in the business, looking at what new agents do right, what they do wrong, and what they should be doing to keep a hold of their sanity and flourish in their new career. There's no one better to talk to about this than Natalie Ryan, a realtor with Century 21 Heritage Group who is certainly flourishing in her new career, one that just started a little bit over a year ago. Welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So just off the top, why don't you tell us your story? How did you decide to get into real estate of all things, and how did that journey go?
Well, I have been in the service industry, bartending and serving for ever since probably I was actually 18. So always done the service thing, the customer service, talking to people, social, but I've always wanted something else on the side. So I've been through quite a few different educational programs, actually, before I came into real estate. I've done anywhere from aesthetics to admin. None of them really stuck with me. They weren't things that I absolutely loved. So then last year, or I guess it would be 2 years ago now, I decided to do the real estate course after a little bit of push from a couple of real estate friends I have. And I haven't gone back since. I've loved it.
Good to hear that you're loving it too. What was it all like, shiny roses and everything along the way too? Or there must have been some trouble or obstacles that you had.
Yeah, not at all. It was actually really difficult. I found the courses pretty difficult. I did it all online through Oria, which is much different now because I don't think you can do it now. It's all through Humber and some other places as well. But it was difficult. The exams were difficult. There was a couple of rewrites I had to do in there, but I got through it. And I was happy to get through that part.
You must have been one of the last of the AREA classes that were happening.
I was on the brink, yeah.
And I know, because I talked to a lot of real estate agents that just came out of the classes, especially at the end there, and they really turned up the notch in the last year, maybe 2 years, in terms of how hard the courses were to get through. So very same sort of experiences that I heard from other realtors coming out of the end of the career or REIA courses. So it must have been a bit tougher than when maybe we started as well, which is good. We wanted to, as an industry, to see, it go out a little bit tougher and start to sort of weed out a little bit. I guess people are often, or our realtors are often saying, there's too many real estate agents in the business. We don't want any more, right? Good on you for getting the license.
Thank you. It was definitely good once I got it because I worked really hard for it, right?
Yeah. So as soon as you got your license, though, so you had your license, what was the next step? And take me through like the next six weeks, 6 months of that process. Were you ready to sell right out of AREA college?
Definitely not. There was a lot of questions and a lot of things to figure out, whereas like branding, which brokerage you want to be with, and a whole bunch of other things like that, mentorship, training programs, getting out of school. It was hard and everything, but they don't really teach you the real world of real estate kind of thing. So I had to, use my resources and just kind of research where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And I actually started off with a different brokerage, as you know, Eryn, which I liked that brokerage as well, but it just wasn't the right fit for me after a little bit of time there. It wasn't very long, but that's just goes to show that there's a lot of decisions to make, and it might not always be the right one at the time, but it may pan itself out. So, which it has.
So what into that process of choosing a brokerage too? Because that obviously is like the biggest first step is you got to find a brokerage to sign up with before you can start really your career after the courses are done.
Right. That was like the one big thing, that and kind of making an announcement, but making an announcement kind of came after finding a brokerage in a sense, because you want to announce who you're with and what you're doing. I interviewed quite a few. That was one of the things some people had told me to do. Make sure you go around to all of them, see what they all have to offer. I really liked, I was with Royal LePage to begin with. I really liked their training program that they had, which was huge for me as a new agent, because I got out of school and was kind of like, what do I do now? So that was really big about them. And then I went over to Century 21, and the training program was very, very good there as well. So a big thing was the training programs, especially as a new agent.
So what would have been the first, if you were to go back and start over, would there anything you changed? Would you have started with one thing first opposed to where you begun? Because there's a lot to learn, right? Just to get it up and going quicker.
Right. I almost wish I didn't. I chose almost the second brokerage first in a sense, only because the whole change in the beginning of my career was a bit hard to do all the new branding all over again and all of that, and kind of I didn't want to show all my social media following and everything that I just had switched right away. It was for good reasons, but a lot of people don't ask and they wouldn't know, right? They just see me just switching around kind of thing. So I definitely would have liked to, maybe take a little bit more time and solidify a brokerage first. But it just happened how it happened.
Right. And in terms of where your business is coming from, percentage it. Like where are you getting your clients now that you're a year in, opposed to, where you maybe even thought you were going to get your clients from the beginning?
I get a lot of clients through online social media. I'd like to think I have a really good grasp on the social media aspect. I have a lot of pages, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And also I do keep a shift or two at the bar, which I didn't entirely plan to do in the beginning. I want to be full bore real estate for sure, and as most do, but keeping one shift a week has proven to be really great, because I talk to a lot of people. It's a small local bar, right? So I have a lot of people in and out throughout the daytime and nights. So that's a huge outlet for me. So between the two of those, that's probably like 80% of my business. Like a lot of business comes through both of those.
Was it typically new people that you're meeting, or is it the people that you've known for years?
Yeah, social media, yes. As for the bar, I've been there for 10 years. So a lot of those came from relationships I had already formed over those years, which was absolutely fantastic because they already trusted me. My first listing was, I believe, 2 months, not exactly 2 months in, just under 2 months in. And it was a couple that had frequented at the bar, and they trusted me because they know me. So it worked out really well. I didn't think I would have a listing so fast like that.
Yeah, a lot of successful real estate agents I've talked to too, they constantly say that. They say if you get out there, you're just chatting to people, like the opportunities present themselves. And I think it's an amazing little thing that you did, like keeping that shift at the bar, so you can keep those connections going. You can talk to new people, meet new people, have those opportunities. It's almost like advertising you're getting paid for, right? 100%.
I say that all the time. Yeah, it's a good place as well, because I have a really good relationship with the owner and the manager. Well, the owner of the building, and then my boss as well. So before even COVID happened or anything, I started planning, but wasn't able to do parties in there of sorts, and another big outlet to have maybe free advertising for myself in a way.
You say social media, and I'm super impressed always with all your posts and the different things you're doing. Very professional, amazing. What is it specifically that what other things are you doing on social in order to really engage? Why are you successful? Because I think everybody's on social these days. What are you doing differently?
I think mostly is the engagement. Like anybody can post anything and have people like it. I comment on a lot of people's stuff. I make sure every morning all the happy birthdays to get them all out there. Somebody got a new dog, somebody got a new job, anything like that. But I personally message them instead of just commenting on it. Sometimes I'll comment and personally message or anything like that. Even sometimes send them maybe a gift card or something. But I use the social media to pretty much know what's going on in people's lives so I can talk to them and just have chats with them.
And a lot of agents don't do that too. We're at Homeania, we're a marketing company. A lot of agents are like, well, we just wanted you to post everything automatically for us. And we're like, well, it doesn't really just work like that. You have to make sure you're engaging with your client base. You can't just post stuff all over the place. It's kind of like sending people junk mail almost, right? You have to keep up those conversations in order to keep those relationships going, because that's really what real estate's about. It's about maintaining relationships.
Right. Yeah.
And what sort of organizational systems in the first year did you implement in order to keep everything? You said you wish to have a birthday, sent a gift or gave a call. Is there anything you're doing to keep track of of that and try and manage that?
To be completely honest, in the beginning, it was kind of a whirlwind. I kind of just did all of it and I didn't really keep track of it. But I knew in the back of my head I needed to because then it would be a little bit more organized. I know you and I have talked about it a few times about where I reached out to you where to get a little bit more organization. I write down a lot of stuff. Maybe not in charts or anything, but notes, period. But some of the resources that actually Century 21 has given me, some spreadsheets, just simple things like that, I actually use. As much as recently, the one that you just showed me, the spreadsheet of months kind of thing. And then there was some others in the beginning as well. So lots of spreadsheets and lots of writing things down. I've seen Remarketer's been proven to be really good for me so far. I'm just getting the grasp of it now. But now that I put in the notes and everything, I'm finding it to remind me a lot more things like the birthdays and stuff like that.
And just to give everybody an overview of what Remarketer is, it's a CRM, a client retention management system. And there are many of them out there. So it's not just a shameless plug for the Remarketer program, which is a third party that we brought in. It really does a good job though. And one of the things that Natalie, that you have impressed me is when we sat down and have these conversations about, what you should focus on and building out your business plan, you follow through on everything. It impressed me. And this is the reason why I suggested to Linas to bring you on. Is as a new agent, it's so important with the follow through. And a lot of people say, yeah, I know you've got to set up a newsletter. Yeah, I know I got to contact my clients, and I should do pop buys and note cards and calendars and all this sort of great stuff. But it just seems like everything that we've chatted about, the next week we talk, you're like, yep. Okay, check mark, that's done, move on. And you're working, still at the bar for a shift or two or whatever it is. It's just, you've done an amazing job with that. You're starting to see some of the lucrative things. Let me ask you a question, because I know a little bit about the history of real estate and our agents, as well as what you've gone through. Leases opposed to sales. Are they worth the time? Are you getting enough from them? Or tell me about that, because I know a lot of our agents do help people find rental properties, and it's not always the most lucrative thing in the world. So tell me a little bit about that experience.
I actually find it harder paperwork wise, a lot more paperwork, a lot more in-depth stuff than finding someone a home to buy. So it is a lot. I find it to be a lot of work. But I genuinely do like helping people. So when somebody reaches out to me and says, I only have a few months to get out of my house and I need to get to A to B, how am I going to do it? I do genuinely like helping them. A lot of it is setting up my business for the years to come. Especially in the beginning. I got a lot of leases, and I was really happy to get a lot of leases because it was more so a little bit of practice for me with paperwork and dealing with agents and stuff like that. And I have had a success story from a lease already. So I got a lease for a nice couple, and now I just sold their house a month ago. So, or her daughter's house anyways. But yeah, so a lease led to a purchase for me, and it was, so that's a success story out of a lease. So if you set up yourself in the beginning, maybe it'll come back around and get you.
Oh, I know a lot of agents do try and avoid leases because the money isn't necessarily there for them. But I think that it does make sense to try and foster that potential future business. You can look at it as an investment, right? As opposed to well, I'm only making this much money on this, it's not worth my time. It really is, because you are developing that trust and, again, developing that relationship.
Right.
So, Natalie, is there any sort of advice you'd give to any new agents, just thinking about getting into the process? Not even new agents, people that are just considering taking their courses for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably have a lot of advice for them at this point. I feel I'm only a year in, I'm still very fresh, but I've learned a lot of things already. Definitely, it's a lot harder than you may think. I think I was pretty humble with my expectations, but I know a lot of people are oh, don't you just go to a property and then write up some paperwork and that's it, you make your money? And it's far more than that. It's like we've been talking about building relationships and a lot of things like that. And there's a lot of stuff that people don't see that we work really hard on. So including the social media, the getting yourself out there, the relationships, it all kind of boils into one. So it's not just paperwork and showing up at a property kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to back up a little bit and look at, because I have almost a mental checklist. I'm going to go through it with what you're doing in your marketing right from the beginning. And so you have a CRM system. It's keeping you managed in terms of, who do you know? How many people do you have addresses for? You send out a newsletter now. You're keeping in touch. You're calling. You're putting new people in that you've met through your networking, whether through your job or whatnot. What other things? So you're doing social media. Your social media is personal interaction and asking questions and commenting and making sure that people understand you care.
Yeah, for sure.
Now there's some automation involved in that as well. I know, and I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of the automation, but I understand now. I was going to say I'm a huge fan of automation, but I'm not a huge fan of the automation on social. So paying somebody to post for you, for example, I've steered people away from that. But there is certain systems, and this one happens to work really well with you, is Back at You Media. And tell me how that worked for you. How did you engage with a social posting service that actually, I guess got you some good leads or some success there?
It has actually, and it's very monumental in my business. I actually really, really enjoy it. I take a certain day out of the week, or maybe a certain couple hours out of each day, and I pre-post all my posts ahead of time. There are some that I need to post on the day of, which is fine, but a lot of them I can post ahead of time. Just your generic, market valuations, anything like that. And it saves me a lot of time. And then it also enables me to do talk to those people in their personal inboxes and all that kind of stuff, because I've already pre-posted anyway. So I'm not focusing on posting my social or anything like that. And on top of me pre-posting on Back at You, the actual site itself generates some posts here and there, which are home valuation tools and stuff like that, which I have actually got a lead off of recently. So somebody wanted me to do a home valuation for them, so I've done that, and we're chatting still. And so it proves to work really well for me as well.
It's just amazing because, again, I've been on it for 15 years, and I've just recently done the same thing. Just had some automated posts, and it really kind of is nice. I like automation. I've just seen people with, some do a poor job of it and just have these things running, and they don't engage and they don't talk about personal stuff. I'm sure there's some sort of percentage out there of how much let's say, personal post opposed to business post.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually find a lot of people, like I get way more likes on something that has a picture of me or a picture of my family or a picture of my house renovations or even my dog. Like I know, like, and then even if I say something underneath it about housing or talking to me or anything, it's just still more personal to people than just a picture of a random house kind of thing. So even though I do post those as well, but I find I get a lot more engagement on personal things.
So you're doing social really well. Again, you're sending newsletters. You're reminding people you're in the business. It's hard during this whole COVID thing in order to go face to face. So, is there any other systems that you have that you're doing, or anything that you've had some success with? Actually, I mean, I think I saw something with you, coffee and talk about real estate or buying seminar or something like that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have a couple of mortgage agents that I work with, April and June. They are absolutely fantastic. They help me to make really seamless transactions for a lot of my clients, if my clients choose to use them as well as myself. So we do a lot of kind of promotions to get people to find out, like what they're pre-approved for and stuff like that. We do a lot of webinars. So we have even a webinar tonight is one of our third one out of the 4 this month, just on home ownership and, the process of getting there. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that as a buyer, my services are free. A lot of people don't know how much do they have for a down payment. There's a lot of things that people would like to know and would like to know for free, of course. And then the coffee and consultations. So we offer people just, a free small gift to come in and have a chat with us. It can be through Zoom. They can come to the office. We can wear masks, do the safe route and all that kind of stuff. You can have phone calls and all that kind of stuff. So we're just getting out there and getting a lot of interaction from people and a lot of call to action in a way, getting people on the webinars and stuff. So.
And those are working. I mean, you're telling me I've heard agents, they get 1 or 2. I did it once and got one person that signed up, and I said, yeah, come on out. There's a whole bunch of people. One person shows up. It's like, we're doing a one-on-one. We're doing a one-on-one today, and all the rest of it. But that's great. That's a really good.
It was hard in the beginning to do that and stuff like this. I'm not a go on camera kind of person, but that's a part of my advice for new agents too, is just to put yourself out there, kind of thing.
So you've got a listing presentation, you have a buyer presentation, that's all set up and ready for you?
Yeah.
You feel confident with that? So what's next then? So you've got all the material, you've got all that stuff happening for you. What's the next step? Where are you going to head? Where do you think the goal is over the next 2021?
Sell a lot of houses. That's the most obvious answer. Just keep the organization up, keep the accountability up. I know I appreciate your phone call every week. I had asked Eryn to have a phone call for accountability, just like he said, to get things done every week so that I can know if I'm on the right track, make sure I'm doing the right stuff. Just keep the flow going and keep building the business. I know it's only year 1, and I know I have a lot of years to go and a lot of years to build the business. It takes a little bit more time than just a year, so I hear. So, things are rolling. The ball is starting to roll for me at a year, but I'm excited to see what 2 and 3 and 4 do for me.
Sounds like you're extremely busy with all the things that you're doing. Do you find
I am quite busy.
Do you find real estate's kind of like taking control of your life, though, or do you find that you're in control of it?
I can feel both at different times, for sure. Sometimes it's all at once, and sometimes I can take a break. So when it is time to take the break, when I feel like I'm not getting a lot of people all at once in that day, maybe for example, then I will be conscious to take the break at that time, kind of thing. And but then when it's all at once, I go all at once.
Yeah, no, it's the main question is, are you living the dream, or are you on your way?
I think I'm on my way. I think I need a little bit more years to get organized and just, really find my groove.
No, you're doing an amazing job of it, and that's again the reason why I see your business take off, and it's really nice when you're working with somebody that's not only doing everything right, but they're having some success now because of the things you're doing, and just keep up that. It's just amazing. It's a good feeling too. Yeah,
It is.
I've been through it. I've been through it myself,
feeling.
and you kind of walk with a different swagger as soon as you start selling lots of houses.
Yeah, I was definitely scared in the beginning. It's a lot. It's overwhelming, and it's scary to think, like, even after the first house you sell, will I ever sell another one, kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's nice.
That's a good question, actually, because and I'm not sure if we've talked about this in the past. Setting yourself up now that you start making some money for future years to increase and to scale your business up and be able to have the afford to do that and everything. Have you thought about tax planning? Have you got somebody to look after things for you? Are you going to do it yourself? What are you doing financially to hopefully over the next few years? Because as soon as you start making more money, guess what? You probably start spending it too. So you just kind of...
I'll start spending it. Government will start taking it. Either way. I have reached out to some people to help me with that. That was one of the biggest things that people told me when I first got into real estate, because I asked a lot of questions. I asked a lot of different agents their advice, and almost everyone said, put away your money for your taxes. Put away your money for your taxes. So that was something that was embedded in my brain right from the beginning. So I got a grasp on it. I mean, the receipt handling thing is a little bit, I just kind of throw them all in there and organize it one day, but I'm sure I'll come up with an app to figure that all out. But yeah, no, so far so good. Last year wasn't that bad. I didn't sell anything in that year, but this year will be a little bit different for me.
There's an app out there. It's called Receipt Bank. It was suggested to me to suggest a couple. So I've been playing with it and stuff. It looks pretty good. So if you get a chance to have a look at it, Receipt Bank is not a bad app to look at too. Because I remember used to always just throw all my receipts in one big. And I had a bookkeeper for many years, and then there was years I was going through every single one of them, just depending on whether or not I was going to pay somebody to do it or whether I was going to do it myself over a bag of popcorn and a movie one night or something, but or a few nights, because it does get it gets pretty tough to manage that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, for every 10 Natalies, for every one Natalie, there's 10 agents that don't succeed too.
Wow.
So it's really impressive that you've done what you've done, Natalie. You're definitely in the minority for being able to be so successful in your first year and have such a positive outlook on things.
Thanks.
But I think that's a great place we can start ending off the show. But Natalie, thanks so much for coming out. It was really a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Eryn was the one who was, we got to get Natalie. He was so enthusiastic too. I was like, I can't wait to meet Natalie and see what all the hype is about. And awesome. Jessica, you didn't disappoint. So if you like the show, subscribe to our show pretty much wherever you find your podcasts online. And please don't forget to leave us 5-star reviews on those sites, because that really, really does help. You can check us out on our website at livingthedream.show, where you can check out and listen to any or all of our shows, or you can head over to our YouTube channel at youtube.livingthedream.show to watch our podcast video streams on demand. If you'd like to get in touch with us, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at any time at podcast@livingthedream.show. Thanks again, Natalie, and thanks again, Eryn. Everybody else who's watching, have a great week.